July 14 is a big day for space enthusiasts as Chandrayaan-3 is going to lift off. The Federal is actually covering this extensively. And in fact, we are doing a five-part series on Chandrayaan-3 and its various aspects with Dr. TV Venkateswaran, a senior scientist at Vigyan Prasar in New Delhi. And in this video, we will discuss the critical changes made to the mission and its significance. Let me go ahead and ask him my first question. Sir, thank you for joining. So,
Okay.
can you tell us why Chandrayaan-3 mission decided to exclude an orbiter this time, and how does this change impact the mission's goals and overall chances of success?
Yeah. So if you recall 2019, when ISRO embarked on Chandrayaan-2, it had three components. The one is the orbiter, which was supposed to reach moon and then orbit it around 100 kilometers from the surface of the moon, like a satellite around the moon. And then one lander is supposed to detach from that and then land on the moon. And then after the landing, the lander's belly is supposed to open and a rover, like a toy car, has to come out. This was the plan. But unfortunately, during the landing process, just about few minutes before it could have landed, there was some malfunctioning and then the whole craft crashed. But the orbiter was successful and then it is still going around the moon and it is fully functional. One of the main function of the orbiter, even during the Chandrayaan-2 time, was to be a kind of a bridge between the surface of the moon and the Earth. The lander has to send communication. If it takes a photograph, it has to send to us, right? If it collects some data, it has to come to us. The lander will not have that much power to transmit toward the Earth. So the idea was that the transmission will go to orbiter, and the orbiter will collect it and then send it to Earth. But of course, now they have kept a redundant function that it can also we can directly pick from surface of the moon, and also it will come via orbiter. So this time the orbiter's need was not there because the orbiter is already there. So you don't need to send one more orbiter. That was the whole point.
Okay, now let's talk about the lander, especially the lander's legs. So
Yeah.
the upgraded lander legs are now capable of withstanding higher vertical and horizontal velocities during touchdown. Could you provide some insights into, the testing procedures carried out by ISRO to ensure the effectiveness of these legs, and how does this improvement actually address the
As
previous
help.
missions, the failure? Yeah.
Yeah. So see, the plan configuration is that the lander will land at the velocity of something like about 1 meter per second, the terminal velocity when it is actually touching down. That is when the legs are touching down the ground. In the Chandrayaan-2, they had a plan for about 2 meter per second. This time around, they are taking it to 3 meter per second so that various eventualities can be managed. So that's one. So when something falls that fast, okay, it's not very fast, but still fast. Okay, there'll be an impact, and then because of the impact, there'll be some energy generated, and then there'll be a lot of vibration. So you need to preserve the integrity of the lander, right? So this time around, number one, they have strengthened the lander leg. Like for example, they have made in the foot of the lander something like we wear a shoe. There is something called as a foot pad. So that foot pad has been made slightly more thicker and it is crushable. So what will happen is that when it touches down, it will crush and then absorb the energy so that the energy won't go to the rest of the craft. Okay, so it's a crushable foot pad they have done. And then also they have improved the legs mechanism. I mean, it's a telescopic mechanism. We have this foldable umbrella, right? Where you fold and unfold, right? So in the same way, these legs can extend and contract. So it can go inside. It's like a telescopic, like our handle of a, roller suitcase that we have, no? The handle height can be adjusted, no? The same way, this leg height can be adjusted. So that will also kind of absorb a lot of energy. That's how they are expecting to preserve the integrity of the lander when it makes the last part landing. No, it will fall from roughly about few meters from the surface of the moon, like a stone. That time there'll be nothing. See, moon has no atmosphere. See, in a planet like Earth, I mean, you can use a parachute. Even in a planet like Mars, you can use a parachute. There is appreciable atmosphere. Moon has no atmosphere. So the last part has to be only a hard landing. It has to fall thud.
Okay. And okay, let's now talk about, the lunar terrain. Considering the complex terrain present there, how does the Chandrayaan-3 mission ensure stability when deploying the rover from the lander? And are there any specific mechanisms or technologies implemented to overcome the challenges related to slopes and to ensure a safe rollout? Yeah.
See, there are three aspects here. I mean, one is related to the lunar terrain. I mean, see, when we look at the moon, it looks like a plain surface. But if you go very near, there are lots of craters. Craters are like holes, like a golf. I mean, golf course holes. It's like a that's basically as happening because the moon has no atmosphere, and lot of space rock come and fall on the moon. So whenever they fall, they create a small hole. So there are holes which are few centimeters, holes which are meter long. This kind of lot of holes are there. And second, because this material is thrown out, there are also ups and downs. There is also slopes. There are also boulders. The rocks that has come out and then lying on the ground. Imagine you have a table and you are kind of putting the table on your roof. And let's say there is a boulder under one of the legs. There'll be no stability for your right. So that's a challenge, right? Similarly, if there is a hole, if the leg goes inside the hole, again there'll be no stability. Stabilities are needed for two important stuff. One is that if the craft itself is very tilted, then it will not be able to communicate in the right direction, right? So it will be hindered. Sunlight will not fall, so solar power cannot be captured. So maximum tilt it can have is only about 120 slope. Okay, the slope it can be only 1:120. That slope it can have. It will work. Beyond that, it will have difficulty. The second reason is that there is a ramp which has to come out, and then the rover has to roll down. The ramp has some specific length, and if the craft is tilted in one direction and the ramp doesn't touch the ground, then the rover cannot come to the roll, right? So that's one important stuff. So this is where a very advanced hazard identification software is being used. So what it does is the orbiter, which has been going around the moon from 2019, has taken minute pictures, very detailed, high-resolution pictures of that area, and that has been loaded into the lander. So the lander has a front-facing camera. So that front-facing camera will capture the image of the ground. There is a captured image, there is a stored image. You compare. So you compare and then find out where am I. And then you identify places where there are not much of boulders, not much of craters, the surface is plain, and the craft will navigate to that point and land. So this kind of a system has been put into this Chandrayaan-3, and that's how ISRO is hoping that this time, I mean, they have tweaked this algorithm, so they hope that this time it will be very successful. If I am a camera, okay, and I'm moving toward this my laptop, the laptop's image becomes bigger and bigger, right? Yeah. So if I move slowly, the laptop will appear to be bigger and bigger very slowly. But if I move fast, it will appear bigger very fast, right?
Yeah.
So from the images, we can compute how fast the craft is going down.
Traveling. Okay.
Not only going down, how fast it is moving horizontally. That is, both vertical and horizontal velocities can be computed from the images. That's also done. Software will do it, and then will aid the spacecraft in landing gently on the surface of the moon.
A follow-up question on this, sir. So, could you also explain how the crafts, AI process, the exactly the how does the images are processed by these AIs to, make the adjustments to its velocity accordingly? Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, it is something very similar to, for example, the face recognition softwares. I mean, like you upload your team's photograph on the Facebook. Immediately, Facebook puts a square on everybody's face and says that this fellow is this fellow is this fellow is this, right? So what you do is basically the way the artificial intelligence software works, for example, the image recognition with regard to faces, for example, let's say, for example, the distance between my eyes, length of my nose, the distance between nose and the lips, okay, are very different from you. So this kind of parameters make my face unique as compared to somebody else. So in the images, you look for the same parameters. Okay. Not all parameters, many parameters. Because if I turn this way, you may not be able to see part of my face. So not all parameters can be parameterized. I mean, when most of it are there, you make a reasonable guess that this person is this person. Same way, these images will be, will be all pixels. They are all digital images, right? So these pixels will be which pixel is dark, which pixel is a gray, which pixel is a white. From that, I mein, you will find the shape. I mean, you will find the shape in the artificial intelligence will find the shape. Of course, artificial intelligence doesn't know any shape. It just compares the grayishness, blackness, and lightness, and then say that these two are similar, these two are not similar. That's how it works. I mean, in a very simple way, if I have to put it.
Okay. Thank you for your inputs, Doctor. Viewers, stay tuned with the Federal. As I said, this is going to be a 5-part series. So stay tuned with us for more inputs, more information on Chandrayaan-3.
Subscribe to the Federal's YouTube page for more news and updates.